Hello and namaskar viewers, I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to this week's episode of the Tax Talk with AJ. The show is brought to you by Science CPA Services, a professional full-fledged accounting firm located multiple locations in the state of New Jersey. They can assist you with any tax matters, any business tax related matters, any personal tax related matters, as well as for small or mid-sized business in case if you need virtual CEO, CFO, or even a bookkeeper. Science CPA Services are capable to help you in any one of these fields. Their on-hand knowledgeable CPAs will guide you in the right direction because they believe in doing taxes right. They can be reached at 908-888-8900 or visit their website sciencecpaservices.com. This weekly show brings you all the latest that you need to know when it comes to taxes. That's why we named it the Tax Talk with AJ. Tax season is over and slowly by slowly the extension season is going to be over. But in today's episode, and before I talk about today's episode, let me remind you viewers that a couple of weeks ago we talked about President Donald Trump's tariffs. Remember, that was a hot issue at the time. It was in sometime mid of April because on April 2nd, he announced tariffs for different countries that what he was going to do. So we talked about tariffs and of course, T for tariffs, T for tax, and now T for Trump. President Donald Trump has completed 100 days in the office, way beyond 100 days, but we really wanted to wait till we get some more information to talk about that. How has he been performing in the White House in his second term after 100 days? Because 100 days is a very significant mark for any president's career when they take the office, because that's what determines that how president is going to run the country for the next couple of years. So now here we talk about Trump after 100 days, Trump's policies, where he stands and where not. So of course, first I'd like to welcome Mr. AJ Kumar of Science CPA Services to the show. AJ, good to have you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you for the kind introduction.
Right, thank you. And with AJ, we have Colonel Tewatia. Colonel Tewatia, who is the Army Lieutenant Colonel from India, and now he is in USA, and he runs a very, very successful insurance agency called Amog Associates, and he helps out individuals with all kinds of insurance, personal insurance, health insurance, business insurance, workers' compensation, liability, you name it. And Amog Associates has a very, very standard name in the insurance industry. So he is our guest, and of course, if he's our guest, he is a Trump supporter also. So we're going to find out about Trump's policies after 100 days, what's working, what not working. AJ, I'd like to begin with you. That first thing was tariff, because on the first day in the office on January 20th, 2025, President Trump signed some 100 executive orders, and one hot topic was, of course, tariff. And then, when he gave a State of Union address and he announced on April 2nd, he would announce the tariff rates, which he announced. So now what we know, what he announced and what it is now, it's quite different, correct?
Absolutely, Sanjeevji. You're 100% right. It's not common for any president in the history to be signing that many executive orders that President Trump has signed. We know in first 100 days, President Trump has signed 140 executive orders, more executive orders than any other president in the history of United States. We know he is trying to do a lot of things at a very fast pace. A lot of promises were made. A lot of promises are kept. A lot of things are changing. But unfortunately, people get used to what they have been doing. And when you try to change a lot of things at the same time, there will be some pain points. So as much as we'll be talking about a lot of pain points that people like me and you are going through, there are some silver linings as well. So we want you to be aware of it. This show is not about supporting or not supporting the current government. This show is more about bringing the right information.
Discussing Trump's policies. That's what the show is all about, bringing Trump's policies in light. With that note, let me go to Colonel Tewatia because, AJ, we talked about tariff issue a couple of weeks ago. Colonel Tewatia, when President Trump announced, this higher tariffs to all the countries, including India and China and everybody else, right? Obviously, there was a talk that how is going to happen and what's going to happen, the economy is going to go down and everything. Then he changed it multiple times. Okay. What was your take at that time, and what's your take now as Trump believes in tariff war and trade war more than anything else?
One of the reasons that I supported President Trump was the trade deficit that America has with different countries. And the reason for this trade deficit has been that over a period of time, the US policy towards the tariff on other countries' product has been very lenient. And because of the NAFTA, a lot of manufacturing has gone away from here. So when the manufacturing goes away from any nation, the jobs are lost. And that affects the economy. America can only become great if it has got manufacturing, which increases the GDP, and that is where you get more employment. When you have more employment, you have more money in the pocket of the people, they have more spending capabilities, and that's what grows the economy. That's one thing. The second aspect, then you're talking about the tariffs increase, decrease, changes. That is not a good thing because that creates some kind of uncertainty. And why it is happening is because when you move too fast forward, many times that you miss out certain things for which you have to take a step back. And that is what hurts the markets. And that's why you must have seen since January of 2025 till now, the market has been roller coasters.
See, market was doing well once he took the office. From January, February, March, market was going okay. And from middle of March and then April onwards, market really took a strong beating because of tariff issues, right? So, and now slowly by slowly, when market wants to come back, here comes another bill which just got passed in the White House. As we go into the recording of the show, we have got news that President Trump's so-called beautiful bill has been just approved. Big beautiful bill has been just approved. All right, so that's a tariff issue. Now, quickly, I want to, because we talked about tariff and Colonel Tewatia, it's good to know that that was one of the reasons that you voted for him because, yes, there should be balance. When it comes to tariffs and trade balances between the countries, USA cannot be just a giver and everything and take very little in the return. And when we have our own citizens suffering from many avenues, right, you cannot be just keep giving. And that was President Trump's idea. I think what went wrong is that he announced all these tariffs and everything, but he didn't have a backup plan ready.
Not just that. I think we have to remember people get used to what they're getting. Once you try to take something back from them, they are going to revolt. It's going to be painful. There is going to be a lot of uncertainty. But in the long run, is it good for the country or not? That's the decision we have to take.
No, I know that. See, maybe I think because he announced on April 2nd with that chart on his hand and everything, is that these are. I think it should have been discussed, with the countries and their, delegations and everything before announcing it. That what is the final thing.
There could have been a different execution plan, but when you take something away from somebody, there is no easy way to do it.
But I know.
There are 75 countries you're dealing with.
Correct. So, all right. So that's a tariff issue. Everyone knows where it's at. But in conjunction with tariff issue came out DOGE, Department of Government Expenditures, and Elon Musk, who was in charge of DOGE. Colonel Tewatia, I'd like to ask you that question, that when DOGE started and everybody, all these departments, employees were laid off, employees were fired, there was a budget cuts and everything else, that really set everyone aback, in a country.
You see, what happens, one of the reasons that all these things started is Mr. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the two people responsible for monitoring.
Well, Vivek, I think, was smart enough to step away from it. He knew what was coming. Somehow he knew what was coming because I think he realized that Elon Musk is overexcited and overhyper. That's how he is, right? So Vivek Ramaswamy, I think, right after President Trump's inauguration, he studied, and Vivek is very intelligent, so he stepped away. So that's good.
You see, I wouldn't say that Elon Musk is not intelligent.
No, I'm not
saying that. Had he not been intelligent, he wouldn't have been where he is today. But the point is that any knee-jerk action is a very, I would say, it's not a very strong thing to happen. It breaks the thing, certain things. Now, government efficiency, what Mr. Trump is trying to do is, there are too many people and doing too little work.
Yes.
So any lean and mean machine always functions better than a machine with a heavy baggage. So what he tried to do is to just make it a lean and mean machine. So what happens, it looks to us that, okay, so many people are this thing, but who are these people? What were they actually doing in the government? Were they contributing something meaningful to the government or the economy? or were they just the drain on the US taxpayers' money?
And you have to also know, Colonel Saab, that in the beginning, when you are making these changes, there will be some pain. People who are losing job, they have a family to support. It doesn't matter if they're doing something or not. It doesn't matter if they're adding any value. There will be some frustration in the meantime while you're implementing some of these changes. I know in IRS, even though we only talk about 12,000 people who were let go, a lot of people are putting voluntary retirement because they're scared. They're apprehensive. And when you let somebody go, their files get dumped on somebody senior. And if you're retiring in a couple of years, the next thing you want, I'm done with this nonsense.
No, but AJ, listen, they wanted to, country, we are in the brink of recession, and we've been on the brink of recession ever since beginning of the year, right? And we are just, walking on a very delicate line of either going into mild recession or into heavy recession. And this had been, on the radar from the beginning of the year. To start something in the Doge without really planning something, obviously it affects unemployment rate and affects cost of living and then GDP and everything else. And that's exactly what happened. All of a sudden, people started to lose their job. Even some people who went to their office and they were told to go back. I think this was completely unplanned. And Colonel Tavatia, to run a business for Elon Musk, whether it's Tesla or SpaceX, is it different than run, government efficiency thing?
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
what I'm trying to say is the one more thing that we must realize, the aspect of economy, which nobody discusses
Yeah.
and nobody's even think about it. And this is when you talk about tariffs and trades, what we are exporting, what we are importing. What are we exporting? Say the US history. What is our biggest export? Technology
Yes.
and weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
How many weapons technology we use in daily use?
Nothing.
What are we importing? This?
Everything.
Everything that I am wearing?
Everything, yes.
Everything.
Everything
So
that you
a
wearing
common,
and we use
common
it now.
man's needs,
Yes.
every single thing is being imported.
Yes.
And what we are exporting, on which the other companies, other countries have put tariffs, is technology, which a common man does not use. So it doesn't happen overnight that we start manufacturing textile and we start manufacturing every single thing.
Yes.
Even the auto industry, which was the, key industry in the United States, it has gone abroad because of the cheap labor available in Korea, Japan, and name a country, and we just assemble the things over here.
You're right. Absolutely.
So that has to change. But that cannot change with the stroke of a pen.
No, you're
Exactly.
right.
That's what the
and
point
there is
is.
a plan to bring back the auto industry. If you look at the House bill that was passed a couple of days ago, there is a new plan. There are new incentive tax rebates. If you buy an auto, a vehicle that's manufactured in US, the interest on that payment is going to be tax deductible, which is not tax deductible right now, and it has to be a US manufactured vehicle. So there are plans around it.
Okay, there are plans around it. Let's see what happens. Okay, with that note, we're going to take a short break. In case if you have just joined us, we are discussing Trump's 100 days in the White House and what's good, what's not good, what's working, what's not working. That's what we're discussing in today's episode. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the second half of the Tax Talk with AJ, right here on your favorite TV channel, ITV Gold. As I mentioned to you, the show is brought to you by Sai CPA Services for all your personal tax needs and for any other business-related matters. In case if you are thinking about starting your own business and whether you want to know, should be LLC, incorporation, C corporation, S corporation, whatever it is, Sai CPA Services will guide you. Give them a call, 908-888-8900, and their website is cpaservices.com. And one more thing I like to add is that in case if you have a IRS tax audit, Science CPA Services can also help you out. Do not ignore that audit letter. Just go to Science CPA Services. They will look into it and they will help you out. All right, because Science CPA Services believes in doing taxes right. Today we are discussing Trump's 100 days. As you know, 100 days already passed by, but we got some more information, so that's what we are discussing. And we have one of our guests, Colonel Tavatia. Colonel Tavatia, as I mentioned, obviously, being in the Army, it's Indian Army, he has served. He has made all of us very, very proud. All his life, he has been an Army man, currently resides in New Jersey and runs his very successful insurance agency called Amog Associates. For any insurance needs, you know that In today's day and age, you need to have all kinds of insurances, whether personal or business related insurances. But on top of that, asset protection, that's what we need to have it, and the wealth management. So wealth management and asset protection, you can contact Amog Associates. You will see the number on the screen. You can give them a call or just Google Amog Associates and all the information will come along. They are the most experienced and knowledgeable, and they advise all the individuals with their insurance needs. All right, as we are talking Trump's 100 days in the break, when we talk about DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, by slip of tongue, I mentioned Department of Government Expenditure, but I correct myself, it's a Department of Government Efficiency. As we try to efficient, it just slip of mind. So I apologize for that. Now let's continue Trump's 100 days. We discussed tariffs, and then we discussed DOGE, and now let's come to immigration. President Trump got elected in the second term with a huge margin. Well, this was completely unexpected that he would win with this many electoral votes and that many millions of votes. And one of the hottest issues at that time was illegal immigration, because the previous administration, in their 4 years, they gave so many leeways for illegal immigrants to come from anywhere and everywhere, and we know the whole story. So President Trump mentioned that he was going to look after illegal immigrants, and especially the ones who are criminals in this country, and he really started to take upon that issue. What went wrong in that concept? Let's discuss, starting with AJ.
Absolutely. So, like anything else, when you have so much leeway, a lot of these things are misused. I know there are a lot of people in New York, in our neighborhood, illegal immigrants, and the government was providing them free stay in a hotel, free food, and it all adds up to the taxpayer's bill. Somebody has to pay for it. So, when you have so much misuse of anything, when you try to correct it, there are going to be some pain points. I know a lot of people believe that immigration enforcement has gone too far. A lot of people with green card, a lot of people even with citizenships are questioned at the entry. A lot of people are scared of going out of the country, even on vacation, especially if you have H1, L1, green card. You don't want to be dealing with this nonsense. But in the short term, immigration is going to remain the focus, and immigration will have some pain points. The advice, well, if you are a US citizen, if you are a green card holder, if you are not born citizen, try to stay away from the borders. I mean, if you don't have a reason to be going to Mexico, then stay within US. Enjoy the vacation in US instead of going outside the country.
All right. Okay, that's true. Now, Colonel Tavatia, this illegal immigrant issue, I think sometime it went beyond the imagination, because individuals, being a citizen, they were detained at the airport. They were sent back from the airport. Individuals with a green card, they also had to face so many problems, as they were questioned, and in some cases they were sent back. And some illegal immigrants mistakenly picked up and sent to another country, and this country, that country, and the other countries did not want to accept them. So it was all kind of chaos. And I think President Trump, he basically lost some good points from American voters because of that issue. What's your take on it?
Okay, there are two things on this thing I would like to address. Firstly, the policy, and then secondly, the execution. You also mentioned that President Trump lost some of the public support. Remember one thing, it is President Trump's second term. When you are a first-term president, you are also looking for election the second term. He doesn't look forward to that. That's one thing.
Never know. Never know.
I have
He
seen
says
that.
he is, while we are on this topic, he is very adamant that there is no mention in the Constitution that once president is elected for the second term, after losing one term, can he run for the other term or not? So you never know.
Okay. I take your point. Okay, he can run. Let's assume that.
Correct.
Okay. The second thing was the policy about immigration and execution. I have been on both sides, making the policies in the military and executing it.
Very good.
It was very painful for me during Operation Blue Star that I was checking all the cars that are passing through on GT Road, and we are supposed to check every single thing. and you open the briefcase of the people, and then you see the undergarments coming out of those suitcases. That was very painful, and it was very embarrassing, especially for the ladies standing there, husbands standing there, and we didn't want to do that. Many times when you pass an executive order for people to implement, it depends on the ingenuity of the person who is executing that order. Many times people at lower level, they take shortcut where those mistakes take place. That does not mean if some green card holder was sent back or citizen was sent back or some illegal immigrants were sent to another country, that does not make the order illegal or bad.
Okay.
It is the execution which has not been done, for which the officers responsible.
Correct.
At that point of time, they should be held responsible and accountable for that.
Okay.
But
That
don't
is
you
government job.
But don't you have to take some actions when you know some of the green card holders are sent back for whatever reason? I'm sure for good reasons, and it's publicized so much in the newspaper and all the news, and no government official is coming back and saying that it should have been done differently or the execution was not proper. It creates fear. It creates apprehension in the general population. I mean, everybody in this country is immigrant. You are first generation, then there's another person who is second generation immigrant, and there's a third generation immigrant. But we live in a country where 90% people are immigrants. Creating this type of fear in the immigration policies or the new generation immigrant is creating a situation when people are scared, apprehensive, and not spending money. Economy is going down because people are scared.
Yep.
They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. They are not going on vacation.
No, that should have been planned better. But anyway, that's immigration issue. Now let's touch base upon a very important issue, AJ. I'd like to start with Medicare and Medicaid. I mean, imagine, and there's a Social Security in the shadow also, which he hasn't said anything yet. But I think that's going to come out. So now let's have your take on Medicaid issue.
I'll start with Social Security first. You're 100% right. So we have been talking about Social Security running out of funds. The new plan that was passed in the House a couple of days ago, and it's not a law, it has to go through Senate, it has to go through a lot of blessing, a lot of changes, but the current plan that was passed in the House, this is eliminate taxes on tips. If you do that, that loss to the Social Security Fund, because every single time you have a tip, 15% goes to the Social Security Fund. The loss to the Social Security Fund in next 10 years, foreseeable future, is going to be $1.5 trillion. On one hand, we are cribbing about Social Security running out of fund, and then we are trying to implement a rule with no plan to replenish it, which will cost $1.5 trillion, not billion, trillion dollars to the Social Security Fund. But again, just to coming back to Medicaid type of situation, if the plan is implemented as is, the plan that was approved a couple of days ago by the House, 10% people who are getting the Medicaid currently will lose the Medicaid. And remember, Medicaid is medical aid. It's given to the people who officially, theoretically, cannot afford the proper insurance. These are old people. These are parents, grandparents. If somebody in somebody's family, if their grandparent is not getting Medicaid anymore, the whole family has to. It's not just this person. The whole family has to suffer. It will create a lot of frustration.
Just to add to what you say, what you were saying is that in this country, Medicaid and Social Security, millions of Americans live their retirement life only on these two things. Let's put it that way. I'm talking about lower middle class and a completely middle class individuals. They live on these two because these two things gives them a hope that in case if they are sick, Medicaid will take care of the expenses and Social Security will give them some kind of benefit. So that's what they are living on. Colonel Saab, your take on that?
I agree what AJ has said because we need to fund the Social Security and Medicaid departments enough for that people to get those benefits. At the same time, I am the person who handle these issues every single day because of my job, and I've seen a 39-year-old guy walking to me with a Medicaid card, and when I checked up, he's making, I think, $300,000 annual income.
Wow.
And he's with a Medicaid card. I've seen people going and collecting food stamps in Mercedes. Okay, if you have not seen. So what happens, all these facilities have been very badly misused.
Yes.
Your illegal immigrants are misusing these facilities.
Yes.
You get that lawn mover at a cheaper rate because he's illegal or he's not authorized to work. For what reason? Because he's not paying tax. He's taking the money from you in cash. All right? But guess what? You are paying more because you are paying less to him, but you are paying more for him
More for him,
through the
exactly.
government, through taxation.
Well pointed, yes.
So you have to look into your own eyes as to where we stand. It's not the government. You see, the police and FBI, they cannot enforce anything unless we, the people of this country, aid in their implementation. When we check, the guy walks in, I just call the Medicaid department. It didn't look like to me that guy is a Medicaid qualified. And then he never showed up again.
Really.
Okay, so those are the things we have to be a very, very alert citizens, and that's where we can make America great again.
All right. So then my question to you is following, before we go into the end of the show. My question to you following, and any one of you can take it. Should he not touch Medicaid and Social Security for now? Or should he make any changes? And if it is, what kind of changes should he make?
I'll take the first step. And Kalsab, you can correct me if I'm not going in the right direction.
Quickly, you have 1 minute.
So the way I see it, all these ideas, a lot of these ideas are great ideas. Implementing these plans, be the immigration, be the insurance, be the Medicaid, they are all good plans. First, you can't go this fast. You have to let people breathe. You have to have a plan. Execution is important. It doesn't matter what your intention is. It doesn't matter what you are saying. How you are saying, how you are executing these plans is more important than what you're trying to achieve. Right now, the way is
Too soon. It's too soon. And
It's too soon,
When
too
you
fast.
when you not walk, but when you run too fast, too soon, you're gonna fall down.
you are going to walk on somebody's feet.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to be walking slow to avoid that you're not walking on anybody's feet. When you're running too fast, you have all the good intentions in the world,
Exactly.
but it's not working out right now.
Okay, Colonel Sahab, 1 minute, please.
मैं एक यहाँ पे डॉक्टर
जी।
कुमार विश्वास की एक
एक
लाइन है
लाइन
वो
पंक्ति
बोल देता
सुनाना
हूँ
चाहते हो? हाँ.
कि मैं जब भी तेज चलता हूँ नज़ारे छूट जाते हैं. So whenever you try to do something in too fast, you probably forget about the accuracy portion of
There
it.
you go. Okay. So that's exactly what has happened in Trump's first 100 days, because he wanted to do so much. He wanted to impress American voters and the world, and saying, oh, yes, I'm the big boss and I can make the difference, and so on and so forth. And some things worked, but very little thing worked. Most of the things kind of completely fell off the track. So that is the show all about Trump's 100 days in the Oval Office. And of course, the show is brought to you by Science CPA Services, a complete tax accounting firm. All over, whatever that you need to know, you can give them a call, 908-888-8900, or visit sciencecpaservices.com. And before I thank this gentleman, I just want to say that we're definitely going to bring Trump's 100 days Part 2, episode number 2 will be coming also very soon. Colonel Tawatia, thank you so very much for your presence.
Thank you.
Really added some valuable points. And AJ, as always,
Absolutely.
thank you
My
for your
pleasure.
insight, and thank you for your guidance in this matter. I am Sanjeev Pandya. Until we meet again, same place, same time, do take care of yourself. And yes, watch out what Trump is doing. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.